A city born in myth and legend. A temple 4 times larger than the Parthenon. A theater seating 25,000 spectators. The world's first multi-story library with a tomb hidden beneath its galleries. Streets paved in marble, homes with heated floors and running water, all in the 1st century. Ruled by kings, liberated by Alexander the Great, rebuilt by emperors. Burned by Goths, buried by time, and rediscovered in the 19th century. A city where Greece met Rome, where men became gods, and where a new faith flourished with the sermons of St. Paul. This is one of the great wonders of the ancient world. This is the eternal city of Ephesus. Hidden in the hills of western Turkey near the modern town of Seljuk, Ephesus stands as a monument to human ambition and achievement. Its legacy of power and beauty is unmatched in the ancient world. With a past reaching to the Neolithic, life here dates back to 6000 BC. Legend says the Amazons, the legendary tribe of female warriors, founded the city and established a sanctuary for their goddess. Later, the region and the city came under Mycenaean rule. Excavations revealed a Mycenaean burial ground from around 1500 BCE. By the 7th century BCE, Ionian Greeks settled these shores, building temples to Athena and Apollo and claiming the city they would name Ephesus. In the centuries that followed, Ephesus grew into a thriving port and political power, forging alliances, repelling invaders, and prospering at the crossroads of empires. Around 541 BCE, construction of a temple immortalized Ephesus in the annals of history. King Croesus of Lydia, the city's current ruler, sponsored a sanctuary so vast it would stun the Mediterranean and would be known as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The Temple of Artemis, honoring the goddess of the hunt and nature. Ground was broken on the site of an older temple in 540 BCE, and work continued for decades. Croesus's temple carried 127 marble columns and measured about 430 feet by 200, with a height of 60 feet. Roughly the size of a modern soccer field, it had a cedar ceiling, cypress doors, a glittering altar. Dedicated to Artemis, venerated as a life-giving mother in Ephesus. It served as a shrine, marketplace, and bank. Inside the temple, the wooden statue of Artemis gleamed beneath layers of jewelry, her chest draped with what some called many breasts, others eggs or bull testicles. During the Artemisia festival, her image was carried through the streets like a saint in a holy procession. The Ephesians consecrated their city to Artemis. Its precinct was inviolable. Civic pride and divine favor were one. Over the centuries, the Temple of Artemis was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times. A stunning statue of Artemis is now housed in the Ephesus Museum in Seljuk, Turkey. After Croesus fell, Ephesus came under Persian rule. For nearly 2 centuries, it served their satraps, taxed, watched, but left to prosper. The Persians allowed the great Temple of Artemis to stand, its fires never dimmed. Yet beneath that uneasy peace, the city waited, until a young Macedonian crossed the Aegean Sea and shattered the empire that held the city. This young Macedonian was Alexander the Great. After defeating Persia, Alexander entered Ephesus. He broke the pro-Persian oligarchy, recalled exiles, and restored democracy. Historians record that seldom did Alexander win greater repute than by his fairness at Ephesus. The Hellenistic city surged back to life. After Alexander's death, Ephesus passed between his successors, first under the Seleucids, then the Attalids of Pergamon. When the Romans rose, they took the city into their sphere, and by the time the exiled Hannibal arrived, Ephesus had become a prize of empires rather than a free Greek city. In 129 BCE, Rome annexed the region. Later, under Emperor Augustus, Ephesus became the epicenter of Roman Asia. Temples were built, commerce increased, and the city flourished. The Romans expanded the city, and Augustus granted citizenship to the substantial Jewish community. By 1 CE, the city entered unprecedented prosperity. The first and greatest metropolis of Asia. Roman Ephesus was engineering in marble, colonnaded avenues, drains and sewers, fountains, bath, gymnasia, aqueducts. Croesus Street linked the state agora uphill to the commercial agora below. Terrace houses along the slopes of Croesus Street stretched upward, their lowest levels fronted by shops and taverns. Inside, heated floors, fountains, colored marbles, and walls painted with faux marble, floral, and mythic scenes. These houses contained stunning frescoes, mosaics that survive to this day. The homes were status made visible, culture, comfort, and politics under one roof. Ephesus functioned with twin hearts. The state agora hosted ceremonies and civic life. The commercial agora pulsed with trade from Syria, Egypt, the Aegean. As prosperity grew, patrons expanded the state agora to meet political, social, and religious needs. On the western side of the city, the commercial agora was the commercial lifeline of Ephesus. It was an open square with 2 aisles of shops where goods and slaves were sold. Right next to it was the Arcadine, a stunning colonnaded long avenue, half a kilometer long, that led to the harbor. On the western side of the lower agora stood a gate to West Street and the harbor, the Arch of Mazias and Mithridates. Erected around 3 BCE in honor of Augustus and the hero Iulus. Through it flowed grain, wine, silk, papyrus, the lifeblood of Ephesus. Yet the same river that fed the harbor slowly filled it with silt. Century after century, the sea withdrew. Under the reign of Trajan, one of the greatest monuments of Ephesus rose, the Library of Celsus, a monument to knowledge and memory. Built in the early 2nd century CE by Gaius Julius Aquila in honor of his father, Tiberius Julius Celsus Ptolemeus, the city's former governor, It once held more than 12,000 scrolls. Its two-story facade, Corinthian columns, carved pediments, and statues of wisdom, knowledge, judgment, and virtue made it one of the most magnificent libraries in the empire. The library's interior hall featured 3 levels of galleries and lecture rooms. Beneath its marble floor lay Celsus's own tomb, sealed in a sarcophagus of stone and legend. When fire consumed the building in 262 CE, only the facade endured. A silent testament to Ephesus's brilliance as a center of learning and faith on the edge of empire. Hadrian, the adopted son of Emperor Trajan, was a ruler who loved to travel, and Ephesus was one of his favorite cities. Between 123 and 128 CE, the locals built the Temple of Hadrian in his honor, designed by Publius Varius. Its facade rests on 2 columns and 2 pillars, crowned by a curved pediment showing the goddess Nike wearing the walls and towers of Ephesus as her crown. Above the doorway, a carving of Medusa guards the entrance. Inside, the vaulted chamber blended myth, artistry, and imperial pride. Purportedly begun by Lysimachus and enlarged by Claudius, the great theater seated about 25,000. Claudius rearranged seating to improve acoustics. Here in the theater, performance mixed with politics and faith. Emperor Nero later raised a vast oval stadium for 75,000 near the Croesus gate. Prosperity endured for decades, until catastrophe. In 262 CE, the Goths ravaged the city. Earthquakes followed. The harbor, the source of Ephesian wealth, finally silted shut, suffocating trade. As the pagan world waned, Christian Ephesus rose. Mentioned repeatedly in the New Testament and linked to St. Paul's epistles, the region also kept a shrine to the Virgin. In the 6th century, Byzantine Emperor Justinian built the Basilica of St. John over the apostles' supposed tomb. Ephesus, once Artemis's city, became a Christian pilgrimage center. This transformation also signaled the destruction of the Temple of Artemis, as its marble and stone was pilfered to be used in construction of the basilica. Even though it remained an important Christian site, the city never fully recovered its former glory. By the Seljuk Turks' conquest of 1090, little remained but a small town. By the 14th century, even that was deserted. After nearly 3 millennia of history, Ephesus slipped into obscurity, until 1869, when British archaeologists rediscovered the Temple of Artemis. Systematic excavations followed: the library, the terraces, the agoras, the theater. Today, Ephesus is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a time machine where Greek, Persian, Roman, and Byzantine layers still breathe through stone. Each year, over 2 million visitors walk its marble streets, admiring the remains of this glorious ancient city. Ephesus is the pattern of civilization in one city. Faith and ambition, prosperity and downfall, memory and revival. From Amazons to Alexander, from Augustus to Justinian, all left their marks. And in the hush after sunset, the light of Asia still shines, and the eternal city lives on.